All right, we're here for a deck tech featuring Andrew Cuneo's blue-red control slash mill slash the weirdest deck I've ever seen on paper deck.
Yeah, I like to call it Toots Magoots, but
Toots Magoots.
not sure exactly what it's trying to doots Magoots here. But
All right, well, I'm Todd Anderson. This is Brian Brown doing. So this deck is basically a Sphinx's Tutelage deck at its core. It's trying to mill out the opponent as quickly as possible. You would think that it would have more removal spells in it if it was trying to kill your opponent's Sphinx's Tutelage, but I think that we really underestimate how quickly Sphinx's Tutelage can actually kill the opponent.
yeah,
This deck is a mid-range predator. I think that any other mid-range strategy, any deck that can't kill you before like turn 6 or 7 is going to have a really tough time just beating the card Sphinx's Tutelage, especially when Andrew Cuneo puts so many cheap draw spells into this deck. He's playing 4 Magmatic Insight, 4 Tormenting Voice, 4 Treasure Cruise, 2 Dictative Crucifix, and even has 1 copy of Alhammarat's Archive. All to just trigger Tutelage as quickly as possible, as many times as possible, and it almost always kills you within 2 turns of resolving it, assuming that your draw is reasonable. We have 4 copies of Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which flips into Telepath Unbound, so that we can like flashback Treasure Cruises, but also it just acts as another way on the backside to stall your opponent's creatures out, since he has the +1 to shrink them by 2 power. The way that he keeps from dying, we have 2 Send to Sleep, which is kind of like a fog effect. I mean, it seems pretty difficult not to have spell mastery in this deck when you want to cast Send to Sleep. So this is almost always going to be tap 2 guys and they don't untap. And then we have 4 Anger of the Gods, 1 Roast, and 2 Whelming Waves. Now, Brian, quick question: are you playing any Leviathans, Octopuses, Serpents, or Krakens in your deck?
no, I'm not.
All right, most people don't. That's the trick. So Whelming Wave is almost always going to bounce every creature that they have. It's going to make stuff like Dictative Crucifix like a little more bearable. You know, giving your opponent extra cards is usually a bad thing, but when we have these big sweepers like Anger of the Gods and Whelming Wave to like reset the board, that's going to usually buy us enough time to trigger Tutelage like 2 to 5 times and just deck them. The mana base, pretty straightforward. We are blue-red based. We have 12 dual lands with Swiftwater Cliffs, Temple, and Shivan Reef. We have 4 Radiant Fountain to gain us a few points of life, which works really well with Alhammarat's Archive. And then we have just a couple of fetches to make Treasure Cruise a little more bearable. I could see a few points where, you know, we want to have a bunch of basics so we don't deal ourselves a ton of damage, but there are going to be times where the 1 fetch land is going to give you just enough cards to delve with Treasure Cruise, and I really like where that's at with the mana base.
Yeah, it seems like Cruise and Dig are going to be reasonably easy to fire off thanks to Insight and Tormenting Voice dumping multiple cards in the graveyard.
Yep. So we are playing 27 total lands, it looks like, with Magmatic Insight, which I think is about where you want to be.
Yep.
Any fewer, and I would say Magmatic Insight's probably not going to be good enough. I wouldn't even mind playing a few more, and even a couple copies of the it's like the Seismic Assault card.
Yeah, the new Seismic.
I don't remember. It's another magma type card.
It sounds like Magmatic Insight, but isn't.
I always confuse this card with the other one when I'm deck building. So
I will say that even though this is a control/mill deck of sorts, he doesn't actually need to draw that many lands. None of his cards are expensive, and so he can actually probably get away with only having, like, you know, 6 lands in play or whatever. 5 or 6 lands.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's the main deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sideboard. So we got some interesting goodies in the sideboard here. My favorite being Talent of the Telepath.
Yeah.
Now, normally you would think, oh, I'm playing against a turbo mill strategy. I guess I'll board out all my removal. Which, yeah, that's probably the case. But if you're playing against something like Abzan Control, they're still going to have like Abzan Charms in their deck, right? Thoughtseizes. Like, you're going to want to draw a bunch of cards anyway, and being able to like take those draw spells from them, while also maybe like sometimes you can even like hit a Thoughtseize and an Abzan Charm and go Thoughtseize you, kill your Siege Rhino. Yeah, like, it seems pretty sweet. There's a lot of different matchups where this card's going to be good, especially other blue decks that have Dig Through Time and stuff in them. Or like Jeskai decks that have like Stoke the Flames in them. you know. So it should be pretty cool. Not sure if it's going to be good in this matchup. I haven't seen Brian's whole deck list yet, but we're going to have 4 negates against other control decks, 3 Fire Impulse, and a Seismic Rupture against smaller aggro decks, a Gainsay to go along with the negates against control, and Case Nice for green and red creatures, I guess. It's pretty... I mean, cards like that, like Gainsay and Case Nice, what are you supposed to say?
Bring them in against blue.
Counters blue cards. Game.
Green and red cards.
Beats green and red cards.
Beats graveyards.
Beats graveyards. Disperse, not really.
Beats permanents and play their non-land.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So pretty straightforward sideboard from Cuneo here. The Tormod's Crypt is going to be pretty good against the rally strategies that people are playing. Your goal against them was to just like kill their creatures or just make sure they can't have a big rally that kills you. And then the disperse, I think it might be okay in this matchup because Brian's playing a bunch of demonic packs and stuff like that. Although he's trying to bounce them himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I really want to bounce.
I like the idea of you letting me get through 3 activations of demonic pact and then dispersing it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
All right.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be all for the Blue-Red Cuneo deck. Stay tuned and look one video down and you'll be able to see Brian's deck tech for the Black-Green Demonic Pact deck.